All right, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined by Mr. Jarrod Hall. He's an absolutely incredible fitness coach from the land down under, and we've been only been working together for about a month and a half now, and not even. And in that time, he's managed to go from averaging about 10 to 12K a month to just shy of 50. I think you said you hit 49 or something like that. And it's just been so cool to see that. So Jared, brother, welcome to the channel, man. Really excited for this one.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your help.
Of course, man. So dude, paint a bit of a picture for us. Like talk to us a little bit, give us a bit of a background, kind of like how long have you been doing this for? Where like what were things like earlier this year?
Yeah, so I guess like I got into fitness, health and fitness maybe 5 years ago. I've been a coach for 5 years. I was an engineer prior to that. Hated my job, like just wanted some. I just was sick of working for other people, you know. So went in. I guess like the gym was pretty much like the best part of my day. So like went into health and fitness, I quit my job, become PT. Um, COVID hit, wiped out my business after I got it up and running, and then all the way until now. Was living in well, I am living in Sydney currently. Just working face to face. I would call it hybrid. Like I had a fair few online clients, um, but definitely still face to face as well. And pretty much like the goal for me for the year was like I just want to get out of the gym. Like I don't want to work in the gym anymore. Like just wanted to sort of just be able to go wherever I wanted to go, live where I want to live. Like I've got a lot of travel plans that I just haven't ticked off. Not getting any younger, so I just wanted to sort of like get fully in there. But also like didn't want it to be like something where I'm just like living on $1,000 a week, which is generally what would happen if I just dumped my face-to-face clients and went online. So I mean, look, like I was, throughout the year trying to like, figure out the organic marketing sort of thing. I was following along with a few other guys in the space and just trying to learn from like free content. I had a lot of debt to pay off like from the start of the year. Um, so like I mean, I just really just couldn't fathom investing in anything. And then I guess like sort of just like got to a point where like the organic was like it got me to a point where I finally had paid off my debt and like I was like comfortable, like sort of, but like I I couldn't I couldn't really picture how it was going to scale. Like I was doing a lot of hours like creating content and like I was just like there's not enough time in the day for me to actually like yeah, like do the coaching, do the marketing, do so and I mean like my content was decent, I think, like and like what was happening was, like I sort of almost like I started dabbling in the follower ads and stuff and it was getting me a good amount of leads and stuff, but like dude, I was so using so much time like doing content that like I just like I couldn't I just was like burnt out. I couldn't like reach out to any of these leads. Now I was running follow ads for like a month or 2 months and like I hadn't reached out to a single follower because I was just like well not a single one, but I feel like maybe like 100 of them, but there was like
Mm.
2,000 like leads like just sitting there and like
Yeah.
in my Instagram. And like I just had no time or desire to want to reach out. And like I also just didn't even have like a strategy of like conversation. And I think that's the biggest thing is like the 100 people that I did reach out to, like I wasn't seeing any traction there. Like I didn't know how to get them into a call effectively.
Mm.
And that was a huge problem because it just seemed like such a big task to tackle 3,000 leads or not maybe like 2,000 leads and not really have a strategy to even like make the most out of it. And I was just like, like I could run ads until the cows come home, but like that's not making me any money, like just because they're following me. So needed a strategy, and I also just needed to buy my time back. I needed the knowledge. I didn't know how to hire people. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. And I guess that's where like I run across your YouTube channel, watched a video of yours, probably the one that everyone watches, and a few actually. I watched a few videos. I binge watched a few, and I was like, this is my guy. I think because like I saw the interview actually with Adam. That was the one that got me actually because
Mm,
when I saw the interview with Adam, I was like, me and this guy have so much in common. Like it's not even funny. Like we're like just grinding, like, and it's just yeah. Like I needed a system, and I needed to know how to buy my time back and actually get someone in who can do my job better than me, even, you know. And thankfully, yeah, we got someone who can do that, so it's good.
incredible, man. I appreciate the detail there too. And yeah, it's funny, man. Like I love working with fitness coaches because like you said, you guys are just absolute grinders. You're not afraid to roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty and just do the work. And so when we can kind of like, yeah, add a little bit of leverage and like channel that energy in the right direction, put the right pieces in the right place, man, you just absolutely blow up. So that's super cool. Um, one of the things I wanted to kind of touch on, like you mentioned that like you've been in other programs, you had a bunch of debt and stuff like that, and you just kind of weren't in the right kind of headspace to like join another thing. What was it like that kind of shifted that? Was it literally just watching like Adam's interview and like that video and like things just kind of unlocked for you? Because I'd imagine you were probably like torn a little bit, hey?
I think like this is a tough one, right? Because I think like for a lot of people, it's like the emotion that it's a mental block in their head that, oh, like I don't want to part with the money. Like I was ready to part with the money, but like for me, it was like I'm such an extremely logical person. Like I don't make decisions on logic. Like I actually refuse to make decisions on emotion. Sorry. And so, like, when I looked at your program, I was like, there's a lot of value here that I actually haven't even scratched the surface on. Whereas, like, when I looked at other, like, organic programs and stuff, I was like, I know that, and that. So if I buy this course, like, I'm literally only just going to be getting, like, a little bit on top. And, like, for me, like, the value just wasn't there. And also, like, it wasn't solving the problem, right? So, I don't know. For me, like, yeah, like I mean, I heavily related to like Adam's story for sure, and like I guess that definitely kicked it along. But like, I mean, even just like the the original video that you post, I think like I said, like the main
Mhm.
video on your channel where you sort of run through the process, like that for me like was intriguing enough that I was like, you know what, like it would just solve my problem to have someone come in and do my messaging. And if someone was actually good at it, like because I know as well, like I had a ton of leads there. I was like, I know like there's got to be at least like 1 in 100 persons going to buy from me, like at the very least. And like I remember actually like getting on the sales call with Matthias. Is that how you pronounce it? Matthias?
Yeah. Matthias.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matthias. That's right.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, I said that to him. I was like, surely 1 in 100. He's like 1 in 100, bro. Like, are you insane? He's like, you probably like left like over six figures on the table, like by not reaching out to these people. And I was like, yeah, true. That's, I mean that in itself, like just that reassurance that like, yeah, like if there's a couple of thousand people who followed you just from like the informative ad that you put out, then like there's no there'd just be silly not to actually get on board and like figure out a way not to like at least sell like some of those people, And he was like, 1% is like he was like that's a ludicrous figure. So, and I mean, yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense now. But yeah,
Mhm.
that was what sold it for me, I think.
I love that, man. And it's funny too, because like I'm in sales, you're in sales, like everyone watching this is probably in sales. And like you know when someone's kind of just pulling your leg and just talking shit and oh like 1% only. But like now on the other side, you can actually see that like he wasn't kidding. And
Mhm.
it's hilarious, like not hilarious, but it's just interesting like to see that. And it's pretty cool as well. Another really interesting thing too that I want to kind of touch on is like when you came in, it's like you kind of already had like a few pieces of the puzzle. You had really good content, right? And a really strong foundation there. You had already run follower ads, which is one of the strategies that we teach, but like you still joined because you knew that there were other pieces of the puzzle. And I know one thing that was massive for you, kind of like you've touched on, was hiring a really damn good appointment setter. So then
Yeah.
to have somebody in your DMs, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what was that process like? Finding one, hiring one, working with one, any lessons you've learned as a result?
Dude, that literally like it changed my business. Hey, like it's and I think like that's another thing, right? Like, yeah, you mentioned like there was like I had a lot of things already in place and like good to go. And so yeah, like in a way, like yeah, I wasn't really like I guess I wasn't really missing that much, to be honest. But what I did really get a lot from when I came to the program was like as soon as like in fact the second I bought the program, like I got dropped into the community and the community was like definitely like the biggest thing had the biggest impact on me as a whole. I think out of all the dollars that I spent, I think like if I only got one thing out of it, I would pick the community because like as soon as I got in, like obviously got connected with a whole bunch of other people who are making like 6+ figures a month, like and just being able to talk to them, pick their brain on things, and then also get connected with other people who push you in the right direction or just even just give you exactly what you need, like I'll name a few things like I mean Adam, I reached out to him as soon as I was in the program basically because I was like I need to talk to this guy, like I just relate to him so much.
Yeah.
And just I mean obviously just commended him on like his achievement and stuff, but then he was just like, here dude, like have a look at my sales calls, like here's all the videos and like I can just look through them and stuff. And I was like, that's like super helpful. And like just the people's willingness to like it's not like gatekeeping, it's just like we're all
Yeah.
here trying to make tons, like we there's like a collective like understanding that there's enough money for everyone. Like we don't need to compete
Yeah.
against each other. It's like everyone is in their own separate division and it doesn't really matter. And like I think that's a good thing that I've realized over a long period of time actually is like it really doesn't matter like who else is out there trying to compete against you. Like it really it's irrelevant, So it was good to see like when I come into the program, yeah, I got connected with him. I also got connected um, with Leon, who was his appointment setter and now runs his own business, training these other guys up, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, quick plug for that guy. Like he put this kid Wataru into my business, who runs my DMs now, and dude, like, I mean, brought back a metric ton of time. Like I can't even describe like how much time it saved me and how
Mm.
much money it made me is like insane. And the good thing as well, it's like, like that kid, like literally not only did he help me do that, but like he brought me into his course and like got me on Zoom calls and trained all those that person up. So it's just like
Hmm.
there was a lot of help there from him, and a lot of help there as well. Like when I onboarded him to, um, from your guys, like the appointment setting calls that we can literally bring him into, and then he can learn. And yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. I think the lack of gatekeeping from like that perspective, like once you're in the community, was like yeah, it was game changing for sure.
That's awesome, man. It's so it's so interesting too because like the community is something that like you don't expect that you're gonna get a lot of value from. At least I don't anyways. Like no rarely do you hear that like if somebody buys because they want to be a part of the community. It's happened a couple times, but like it's so cool because it's one of those things, it kind of sneaks up on you, and like
Mm.
it just catches you by surprise in the best way possible. And so that's really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
Taking a
And
bit
I'm
of a
finding that with like my business as well, you know, like
yeah,
with the community. Like it's really powerful. But like I think
yeah.
as well because like you sort of like when you look when you're a client or like a prospect, like sitting back looking, you're like you almost idolize the people who are like on the channel already or like crushing it already. Like even like people who come onto my course, like they look up to my top clients who I post on my page and I talk about them and like whatever. Like they almost like they want to be a part of that thing, you know? So, and it's almost like a little bit out of the ordinary to even be in contact with those people sometimes. Like, so when you come into the community, it's like, oh shit, I actually get to talk to that person now. Like that's almost like a bit strange, you know? But it's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's super cool. That's awesome. And just kind of taking a bit of a step back, man. I know before we hit record, like you're kind of just talking a little bit about like how it almost doesn't feel real. Like, how are you feeling right now, just about like the business in general? Because like it hasn't been that much time, and you've seen exponential growth, and that's rare.
I mean, yeah, it's insane. I I don't even know how, like I said, like, yeah, like there was sort of that moment where like, yeah, like I said, like I was closing calls like one after the other, like on week like one of the program. And my girlfriend was just outside of the room like the whole time like listening to like one two three like probably like I can't remember like how many I think we closed like five I don't know, it was like 15K inside of like 4 days or something and like that was like my monthly salary usually and I'm just like so I just left my room and I was like, I just like looked at it. And I was like, what do we even do now? Like, what do I do? Like, we end up just like, let's go get Macca's just to celebrate. And like, it was just such a like mediocre like celebration for something just like so
Mhm.
wild. Like, we just both couldn't even really comprehend it. Um, yeah, I don't even know, but
That's awesome.
it's cool. Yeah, it's awesome. But I mean, I still haven't fully wrapped my head around it, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. So cool, man. I just want to say, like, for the record, like, I'm so proud of you, and just like you're one of those guys that just has such like a pure heart, and like your intentions are just so like I can tell you want to help these people, you want to serve them, and like you're changing lives. So I just want to give you a little pat in the back there, man. And it's so
Thanks,
cool,
dude.
like just to see you absolutely take it and run with it. And yeah, so that's cool. So looking forward from here, like I'd imagine you're creating some really good problems, and the back end is getting a little congested probably. What's
Mm.
next for you though? Like once we kind of patch that, and we'll talk about that after the call here too. But like now you've kind of like hit 20, 30, 40, like 49K a month. Like, what are you aiming for now?
I mean, always like when I come into the program, like I mean, the first thing I said to Matthias was like, I want to hit a six-figure month. Like that was like that's the benchmark. It's always been the benchmark. Like I think like I've always like for a long time like just I just want more for my life and like for my family's life and everyone around me, you know, like I'm a bit competitive. Like I also just like once I start something, I'm just like I get obsessed with it and I just keep going and going and going. But you know, like I've always been into the I want to get the sports cars and all that stuff. So like six figures a month sort of makes that possible, that lifestyle, you know.
Mhm.
So that's always been the aim. So that's why I said to him, you know, like, is that possible? And he's like, what do you mean is it possible? I was like, well, it's just out of the realm for me. You know what I mean? Like when I come into the program, you got to think like I'm earning 12K a month, 10, 12K a month. That's like what, 120K a year. It's like to think that you could earn that in a month, like is just absurd, you know? So, and like, I guess as well, like, it's like, yeah, you sometimes see these ads or these posts like on Instagram where people are talking about shit like that, and you're like, I mean, a year or two ago, I would have just thought like these guys are just scamming people. Like this is ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
as if you could even earn that, you know? But like I guess like the more that you get surrounded by these individuals who are just like they're in the top percentile of what they're doing, and like and I mean not even like the top of the top. It's just like this is just like maybe the top one, like couple of percent, you know, and they're still earning six figures a month. So I'm like, it's definitely possible. So I guess like once I fully comprehended that I knew it was possible, like it's always been a goal for me. So that's definitely the next step. Like we've talked about that. Um, Me and Wataru have talked about that. Like, how can we do that? What would that mean for him? What would it mean for me? How are we going to get there? Um, so yeah, that's the next thing. I mean, once we hit 50, which I guess we're 1K away. So we gotta celebrate that first.
Send me a payment link, bro. I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, like I mean, if you keep this, if you keep up this growth, you're gonna hit that next month. But no, that's super cool, man. And like just kind of paint the picture a little bit ahead for you as well. Like when you're signing a ton of clients on the front end, obviously that means a lot of time coaching the back end. And so like yeah, once you dial that in, streamline that a little bit, like from here, like to get to six figures a month, it's like kind of the balancing act between like front end marketing sales and back end service delivery. Cause like you don't want to sacrifice the client results just to scale.
Mm.
But you also have to like wear both hats because like Coach Jarrod can't tell marketer Jarrod to stop and pump the brakes. He's just got to figure it out and keep going. That was the lesson that one of my mentors told me as well. And literally immediately after that conversation, I went home, doubled my ad spend, and then doubled the business the next month. And then
Well, I think we had that same conversation, us two, right? Like when I
yeah,
came into the first call, and I told you guys that I'd turn my ads off because I couldn't like message the people, and like I literally got blasted in the
I remember
people were
that.
blasting me in the message box, and I was like, "Oh my God, first call I'm ever on," and I just got ripped. And they were like, "Don't ever do that." And
Yeah,
then yeah, it happened again like later on, like where we hit like big numbers, and then I was asking, should I like increase it? And they're like, what the hell do you think? Like it was just such a like an abrupt like response to it. It was hilarious, but it definitely was like, yeah, like that does make sense.
yeah. And it comes from a place of love and also being burned by not doing that and realizing that like we should have. And so I've,
Yeah.
I've done that too many times where it's almost embarrassing now. But yeah, the way I see it is like it's never a bad thing to have more people in your audience that know you, like you, and trust you that are watching your content every single day, even if you can't reach out to them, even if you can't get them onto a call today, you can next month, and they'll be there warmed up, hot and ready, waiting for you to give you their credit card. So it's yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean that just is proof, right? That like I literally had those people there for like
Hmm.
months and didn't reach out to them. And then as soon as I had someone to reach out, like we signed so many people. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, makes a lot of sense.
that's awesome. So curious, man, like somebody let's say there's a fitness coach watching this and they're kind of floating around the 10 to 12K a month mark. Maybe they're hitting 15 every now and then. Like, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them? So I'd imagine like they've probably gone through other programs that tell them to just make content that goes viral, hire VAs and stuff like that. And they're probably doing that. Like, what do you wish you knew a little bit earlier?
I mean, I think for sure, like content is still important, I think. Like, but there it's not something you need to perfect. It's not something you need to get to a point where it's like cranking and viral, like yeah, you can take that route, but it's going to take a long time. And I mean, I spent the better part of a year like trying to get the best content possible. And my content is decent for sure. Like I understand all the major principles of it. Like, I'm teaching a few of the guys at the gym content, but like it's it's not like it's not like that important that you need to get to that level. Like you can have average content, but still crush. Like you need to scale it with ads, like you do. Like it's the quickest way, unless you want to just like wait for ages to become. It's either become a master at one craft or just be average at both, and like still like get and like this is way easier, like way easier.
Yeah.
So like I mean, you don't have to have a fantastic ad for it to actually perform at quite a good level. Like, and you don't need to have fantastic content either. Like, so I mean, my advice would just be just like get them both to that level before you try and be an expert at one. Like, I mean, it's great to actually get to that level with both eventually, but yeah, I mean, get them both started. Like, I mean, even like I got a guy at my gym, one of my one of my clients actually, who's another coach, and he just started running $10 a day. And it's like he's getting clients from that. It's like you don't need to spend $1 billion. But you do need to know how to hire people and get people in to like buy back your time, because if you are making content and you are coaching people and you are doing all these other things, it's like you need someone in there to actually like take some of that burden away from you so that yeah, your back end doesn't suffer, your content doesn't suffer, and then you don't lose your brain.
Well said, man. Well said. Like,
And I think 10 to 12K is the perfect time to do that. Like honestly, probably
oh,
even a little bit before that actually.
yeah. Like even like maybe five, but like definitely six, seven, eight,
Like
100%.
8 for sure. Like 8,
Yeah.
8 to 12, like definitely. Like you've got enough money. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people like kind of overestimate the foundation they need to have as well to start seeing success with ads. Like, yes, really good content helps your ROAS like get to disgustingly high numbers because people don't just like see your ad and buy. They see your ad and they watch your stuff for a while and they take some time to warm up to you and get nurtured, right? And so having really good content is important to that. However, like we've had clients where it's like they don't even have an Instagram account. They make a brand new one. We say, okay, throw up 10, 12 reels over the next few days, and then let's get an ad going first week. Boom. And then
Yeah.
they sign a client the next week. And
That's literally what I said to the boys at the gym. I was like, you don't need to make a bit of content every single day for the next year. I was like, just do it for a month, get a wall
yeah,
of content there, just so people have something to land on, and then start doing ads, like focusing your time on ads and messaging people. And then you're going to blow your business up way. Like since I joined your program, right? Like, and I think this is also the reason why I came on, right? Is because like I think I looked the other day actually because I was trying to prove a point to one of the boys. It was like the 10th of October was the last time I actually posted a bit of content. Like, and before that, I was posting every day, Jeremy. Like every
wow.
day, every single day from July 1st, I posted a bit of content until October 10th. And like, yeah, like I got clients from it, like no doubt, right? But like, I mean, the amount of clients I signed up from July through to October, like I signed up in 30 days. Like, so it's like, yeah, you don't need to have that big wall. Like you just need a little bit of things to for people to land on and just to show them that you know what you're talking about, you that the value, who you are, all that stuff. And then yeah, you can just start spamming ads.
I'm curious, like, to double click on that as well. Like, did you start with just test, like, just kind of one ad, the same one that you had before? Like, was your first ad a winner? How many did you have to test to find it? Because a lot of people kind of get caught up in that as well.
Yeah, so my first ad was I actually ran my first ad back in February. Like I start like but content was very different in February than it is in July. Like I took a break for 4 months because I got burnt out because I didn't have a system to actually create the content. I was just trying to like just wing
Mm,
it and like create one piece every day, and it was just a nightmare, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I started off an ad back then, and like it worked, but then when I tried to run it in July, it just didn't work because back then content was like, things flipping on the screen and just swooshes and like icons and like that was the style. But now
Yeah.
it's like more of like a like talk to camera, like moving around, like dynamic sort of like feel, like more authentic style. People want to see you a little bit more. They don't want to see like just like your face. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I tried to run that. It flopped. Maybe try to run like I think maybe like 4 or 5 other bits of content, maybe more actually. I basically was just pushing out bits of content that was like that I thought was good that had a call to action on the end. It was that simple. Like I wasn't trying to like make a scripted ad or anything.
Hmm.
Um, and some of them were going good, and they were pulling me followers. And I was just sort of just noticing, like just sitting back and just taking an objective look at like what was performing better than others and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and make something that I think would perform well now. And then I sort of took all of the pieces of content that I had pushed out and I combined it into one. So it was basically like a before and after reel with like a bunch of information on how to get that result, and then I pushed it as an ad, and it slapped. It went hard, and yeah, like I just kept running it. So yeah, like it took a little bit of time to land on it, and it was just like observation, which I think is like I think a lot of ads is like that. It's like just putting out iterations of a lot of things and just seeing what works, right? Or what works better than others. Um, but
Mm.
there's a lot of trial and error to it, and I mean, it would definitely help to have someone who knew what they were doing to sort of guide you in the right direction. But you know,
Yeah. Man, very well said. Like I was just well, on my coaching call yesterday, I was talking to a client, also a fitness coach, and he was struggling with ads for a good while. Like he's testing 5, 10, 15, 20 different ones and like giving them really high cost per lead. And like neither of us were stoked about it. And then I was like, dude, why don't you try like a really short one? Like, and just take like the bare bones of it. He launched a 16-second one and it's absolutely flying. It's like spent like $40, got like 46 followers the first day, and then he got like 75 the next day. And now
mm,
it's just absolutely cranking. So like for those watching, like if you've tested a handful of ads, like and they haven't flopped or they haven't taken off, like keep going. Because just like you said there, Jarrod, it's like you got to test a bunch. You got to just keep testing and trial and error, see what's working, what's not. And then eventually you're going to like find one that really works. And like I think this will help put it in like really good context too. Because like you could look back and think like since February, like all of the money you spent on ads were like wasted to some degree. But the way I see it is like I think I tested like 20 or 30 different ads. I wasted thousands or probably even tens of thousands of dollars until I found the one winning ad that's made me millions now. And so
yeah,
it's like it's
you go,
crazy.
yeah.
It's like it's like the I remember seeing a quote the other day, or not the other day, but a while back, where it's like millionaires like they lose thousands of dollars to make millions, and then it's like billionaires lose millions to make billions and stuff like that too. So like yeah, it's really interesting concept because you got to be like you got to have the courage to kind of just keep going, keep spending until you do find it. And obviously, like if you got somebody in your corner that can give some advice and guidance to kind of speed that up, and that could save you a lot of time and money. But yeah, that's really interesting, man. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, I think like yeah, definitely you've got to put some money in a pile and burn it, like to find the right one, hey. And I think what really helps though is like, I mean, I am just a data guy, like at heart. So like I made up all the big spreadsheet. I think actually like I made a comment when I come on to the program. Like you sent a spreadsheet to all of us in the group, and I was like, damn, like I wish I signed up like a week before this because like I literally spent a week like making this big elaborate spreadsheet, and it was like the
I
exact
remember
same as
that.
the one you had. But yeah, it really helps to know what data to actually focus in on and what data to track in general, because if you're just creating an ad and just pushing it out there and tracking nothing, like you're never going to find like, the right one. Because on the contrary of what you were saying before as well, like you can have an ad that, you know, has it might be $5 a follower, but if they're like super qualified and you have all the data to prove that, like that might actually be the best ad that you've got, and the 80 cent one might actually be garbage. Like I had an ad actually that I ran. It was just a straight like before and after of myself, and it was like just a quick change, like with a drop to the music or whatever, and I was getting like 70 cent followers from it or whatever, and like I was like, oh, this is the best. And then I started getting all these DMs from dudes like in my like requested box, and I was like, oh, these aren't like people looking for fitness programs. These are just people like that are interested in me. Like, and I was like, this is not the audience that I want. So like it's just like not you if you don't track that, like what's like how many quality leads you're getting from it or whatever, like then
Yeah.
like that's another thing that's like going to affect like is it a successful ad? So yeah, like knowing what to track is definitely important for sure.
Yeah. That's a really good point because a lot of people like obsess over like the cost per lead or like click through rate and stuff like that. And like those are all really good to track for sure, but they're secondary, right? And
Mhm.
ROAS at the end of the day is the king. It's the godfather. And sometimes it takes a while. It can take a month or two to really establish that ROAS because it takes a while for people to kind of get from the top down to the through the middle to the bottom of the funnel. And like I tell a story all the time where it's like I had two different ads. One I was running for a while, I was getting $5 a lead, and I had like a 3 or 4x ROAS, which was decent. And then I launched a new ad that qualified a lot harder, that was more specific to who I wanted. Cost per lead doubled up to 10, which is crazy. Most people would turn that off immediately, but the quality was way better. And then the ROAS jumped up to like a 18. Like, and it's been like a 12 to an 18 since, which is insane. Um,
That's crazy.
so yeah, that's it's such a powerful thing, but it's so like necessary for success when it comes to ads because you have to be willing to, like you said, burn a pile of cash on fire and then just wait to see if it's gonna bring you something on the other side. So it's not for the faint of heart, but it's for those that are actually serious about getting to the next level. And I think I don't know if we need more evidence to prove that. I think it's pretty clear, but yeah, man. Um, well, that's really cool. Really quick as well. So I do want to be respectful of your time and I appreciate you hopping on here. But and I know you had a few questions for me after too, so I want to make sure we have time for that. But is there anything else that you would tell somebody who's kind of just feeling stuck, plateaued, kind of spin their tires, grinding it out, not really seeing much growth? Like, what would you tell that person right now?
Oh man, it's it's so hard to give these sort of people advice. I think because like I sort of like battled with that myself, but it's like yeah, you need to find someone, seek someone out who's like 3 steps ahead of you, and then talk to them. And like if it costs money to talk to them, like pay the money. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
um yeah, like I think like I mean yeah, there's just levels to it, you know what I mean? And like to get to the next level, you just need to speak to someone on the next level. Like it's not like you need to seek out like Dan Martell or whatever to actually like get to 6 figures a month. Like that guy's billions, you know what I mean? Like it's like go to the person who is at the next level and like doing the next thing and like and um and learn. And that was the biggest thing for me. Like, just learning the next step. Because I think it sometimes can just feel overwhelming that there's just so much that you don't know. Like, oh, that you don't do YouTube, or you don't do this, or you don't do that. Like, it's like, just figure out the next step. If you don't have the content done, like, just learn the basics, and then learn the basics of something else. And then eventually you're going to know the basics of like a lot of things. And then you'll figure out like, what do you need to learn more of next? For me, that was it. Like I sort of get, um, what do you call it? Like, I just, I get overwhelmed, and just, there's so many things. You get
Yeah.
analysis paralysis, and you're just
Right.
like, oh, and then you do nothing, right? So it's like, I think and I see this with a lot of my clients too. And I think the thing is that you need to have a step-by-step plan there and structure. And I think that's why I liked your video the most, is because when I landed on that, it was like a visual roadmap of like what I needed to do, and like the things, that pieces that I need to have in place. And I was like, check that one, check that one. Okay, I don't have that one, and I don't have that one. And I was like, okay, he seems to know what he's talking about. Let's learn the next two things that I need to have this funnel sorted. And then that's why I went with the program. So I think like you just need to figure out the the structure and find someone who does that. So yeah.
Love it. Well, I appreciate your time, man. And again, just like so pumped for you. And it's been so cool to be a part of your journey. And I'm really excited for what's coming too, because yeah, I don't see a reality where you're not hitting six-figure months in 2025. And
It can't be possible, can it? Can't be.
it can't be, man. No, it's you're surrounded by too many people now that do that, that have shown you that it's possible, where that belief, I can see it in your eyes. Like in here, it's possible, and you're going to do it, and it's just inevitable. So it's really cool to be alongside you in your journey, man. And yeah, again, thanks for taking the time to come on here with me today. And yeah, really appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for all you've done for me and my business. I appreciate it, man. It's
Of
been
course,
massive.
my
Massive.
pleasure. And so for those watching, if you want my help, click the link below. Calendar link in the description. Love to chat and see if we can help you out. If you want to watch that video Jared's talking about, I'll have it linked on the screen here too. But with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.